What's up guys, A1A Retrofits here. Today we're going to show you how to install our DIY kit for the 2000 to 2006 GMC Yukon Denali Sierra housings. This one is going to work on all OEM headlights, including aftermarket Eagle Eyes, TYC, and DEPO. So when you purchase our kit, you're going to get a projector pre-assembled with the bracket. You're going to get 2 vacuum formed dust caps, a pre-installed and pre-wired LED driver, a high beam splitter, and a baggie of accessories. So you will also need to purchase a tube of Right Stuff 90-minute gasket maker. You can use actually any RTV silicone. We like this one because it cures in 90 minutes. Fantastic. You will also need JB steel stick to plug up the hole, and a assortment of flathead screwdrivers. And if you have a heat gun, it's going to definitely help a lot better for this process. Now this is a no bake method, so technically you don't have to bake these headlights. I'm going to show you how we're going to do it here at 818 and how we're going to remove the factory projector and replace it with ours. All right, we're going to go ahead and set up now. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the original housing. Now we can tell we've already taken the bracket off. There's a 10mm nut here you got to remove, and then there's 2 screws here you need to remove from the adjuster, and then there's a ball joint here at the top. Now you can see this is the original steel or aluminum framed projector bracket. We have 2 screws here. You're going to go ahead and remove those 2 screws first. And we've already done this setup, so I'm just going to show you how we do it here. Now, this projector is already loose, but again, we're going to show you from start to finish. Now, before you do any disassembly on these headlights, you're going to want to take a reference point, whether that be installing it onto the truck and marking up a wall 25 feet back, or if you don't have the truck and you can mark somewhere along the wall, you're going to need to find the reference point where the factory projector is mounted. So normally what we do is we will place this on a flat surface, we will fire up the projector, and we will mark the wall exactly 25 feet back, exactly where the cutoff line is. Now you're going to mark that, and that's where you're going to adjust our projector to make sure that it's in the same spot when you go and install our bi-LED. Right, so the first thing you're going to do is, because this is a metal projector backing, you're going to use your heat gun. You're actually going to go ahead all the way around here, around the perimeter. You're going to want to heat up this silicone. So it's a very difficult silicone, depending on what brand it is. TYC and Eagle Eyes are a little more difficult. DEPO is a little bit easier, and OEM is, of course, difficult. You're going to go ahead and heat it up on the highest setting all the way around until the silicone becomes very mushy. And then you're going to take your flathead screwdriver, and this is how we do it here. You're going to go ahead and pry under this tab and bend the screwdriver down, and you're going to want to work your way under it. So again, you see there's a lip here. You're going to take your screwdriver in here and pry down to lift up the projector. We like to do it down here because this is the part where we're going to fill it in with silicone and you're not going to be able to see it anymore. We don't like to pry up at the top because water can get in. This is the best place at the bottom. Once you have the projector out, it's going to come out just like this in one piece. As you can see, we've already cleaned out all of the silicone here, and basically, essentially, there was silicone all the way around here, and all we had, and everything is kind of intact, which is nice. Only place we have here is this section we were prying, but other than that, it's ready for the new setup. Okay, so when you receive our kit, it's going to be pre-installed for you. Everything here is going to be actually pre-assembled, but it's not going to be tightened, and there's a reason for that. Depending on which brand housing you use, you're going to need to tilt the projector up. Now you can see here on our bracket we have a set of spacers. These are 4mm spacers. You have top and bottom, and the bottom 2 have these washers. Now what the washer is going to do is actually going to tilt the projector. If you look at the side angle, you see the bracket is perfectly vertical, but the projector is tilted up, and that's to ensure that you have enough adjustment for the factory adjustment. So I'm going to show you what our projector looks like, and there's a couple things you need to do before you install it into the headlight. Now, as we mentioned earlier, you have to adjust for the proper angle of the cutoff line. So depending on what brand headlight you have, this is where you're going to make your adjustments. Now when we ship these projectors set for you, these screws are actually loose. So they're going to be only hand tightened, and that's on purpose, because in case you do have to add extra washers here at the 2 bottom ones, we do provide extra washers. Now the default is 1 washer on both bottom bolts and no washers at the top. So that is the default setting, but if you have to add more tilt to your projector to aim it higher depending on your manufacturer, you will add a second washer in that position. And when you do, if you do have to add that second washer, you're going to loosen up all 4 of the bolts. You're going to replace the 2 bottom ones with new washers where you have 2 at the bottom. And then when you tighten them up, there's a sequence you need to tighten up correctly to make sure that you don't warp the bracket. So you're going to tighten it up 1, 2, the 2 top ones first, and then 3, 4. You're not going to use hand tools for this. You're only going to finger tighten them because you don't want to warp the bracket itself. So we always recommend a little bit of Loctite to put right there so it doesn't back the screw out. If you don't have Loctite, you can always use RTV silicone. Just place a little bit there, and that'll ensure that the bolt never backs out and everything stays nice and tight. So once again, if you do have to adjust it, or even if you don't have to adjust it, you will have to tighten these down. And the sequence is again 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we are ready to install this projector into our housing. After you cleaned up all the existing silicone here, we're going to show you how to insert this projector into the housing itself. So it's going to insert straight forward. It's going to go straight forward. We're going to slide up, down, and in. Once you do that, it will actually click into place. See, I didn't do it proper, so let's do it one more time. Insert, tilt up, and down, and it should fit nice and tight all the way into the housing. There you go. So as you can see, you have an even lip all the way around on all 4 corners. So this is how you're going to test fit it. Now I'm going to show you how to glue it in, but we want to test fit it, make sure this fits here before you add any glue anywhere. So now I'm going to take this out. We're going to go ahead and take our RTV silicone, and you're going to cut the tip off for a nice fine tip. Now I'm not going to do this housing because we're still going to work on this one, but I'm going to show you with a marker where we're going to add the RTV silicone. So right here, we're going to go ahead and add it along this edge, all the way here. I'm going to fill this void in, all the way back down, straight down here. I'm going to add a little more here in the 2 notches where you had the prying done. Fill this void all the way up. So essentially, you're going to go and fill this all with RTV silicone. You don't need a lot. You just need enough where when you place it in, it'll ooze out and you'll be able to clean it up. Okay? So again, RTV silicone, the Right Stuff 90-minute gasket maker. We like this one for this setup. Just along this edge here. Once it's in place, again, projector installation. Insert. Tilt up. When you tilt up, you'll see this bottom will lock into place. And then forward. And there you go. So now the projector is locked into place and it's perfectly seated. You can see all the bolts and everything. You should have the little RTV ooze out there on the sides, and these holes are still clear for the screws to be put back in. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to install these vacuum forward dust caps. So we made these custom for these specific headlights for this make and model, and using our bracket. On the back side, you see we have P for passenger and D for driver, and there's a reason why we label them. They're exactly the same, except for one is more curved on the end. So we're going to go ahead and do the same process with the 90-minute gasket maker. I'm going to show you exactly where to place the gasket maker here. We're going to go around from the outside edge, right over here, up. Now, you see where the pivot point is? We're not going to go to the end. You can, but you don't need it in that space. You're going to come like that. And the reason why is because this needs to be able to adjust. So this is where you're going to add the RTV. You come here, fill in this void, on down, all the way across. And add a little bit more, of course, at the 2 areas where you had peeled the plastic. Fill this void, come back around. Perfect. So once you have that set, you're going to take your dust cap. So this is the passenger side. Go ahead, the one that's labeled P. And the little baggie, you're going to pull out the locking ring. So this is the threaded shaft locking ring. We're going to use this to lock this into place. You're going to insert your wires into the end, slide it right over. And as you can see, once you place it down, remember here where I said you don't need to have RTV all the way up to that corner. You can, but we curved it kind of inwards because this is where it's been cut. insert that just like this. You're going to take your locking ring, insert the wires through, and you're going to go ahead and take the locking ring, tighten it down. Actually, before you do that, also, you're going to take your RTV silicone and you're going to want to add it here. So we're going to add some right around here along the edges. You can add some to the threads if you'd like, just to kind of waterproof everything. So this is where we're going to add the RTV silicone as well. Now you put your locking ring on. You put the locking ring on. You're not going to tighten it to the point where you're deforming the plastic. You're going to tighten it down where it's nice and snug. And now your bracket is nice and tight. So this is going to actually press the plastic into the aluminum, and everything's going to be nice and snug there. You're going to take your factory screws. You're going to put the factory screws back into place. And then once you're done, so this is, now we're ready for the final assembly. We're going to let this actually cure. You can wait 90 minutes. Usually we'd wait about 10-15 minutes until it's a little bit held together. And we're going to go to the next step. All right, guys, this is the final step. You're going to take your steel stick. Now we're going to use steel stick. We like this because it's a putty. We can massage it and everything. We're actually going to plug this hole. This is an optional step, but it's highly recommended for our projector because you don't want water to get inside there. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit of this, knead it up. We're just going to go ahead and plug this hole with the wires. Now this specific projector has not been wrapped up. We will have this wrapped up for you, so it's much easier to plug this hole. You can use this to plug up that hole. You can also use it here if you'd like to, but in reality, all you have to do is plug up that hole. The rest of it, everything else has been completely sealed off from the elements, so you're not going to get any dust or debris inside those headlights. And once everything is nice and secure, this is one final assembly. Now, when you're all done, what you're going to do is you're going to install your 9006. This is the high beam solenoid. You're going to insert these pins into the wires until they're both clicked into place. Okay, so that's your high beam solenoid. You're going to take your LED driver. LED driver is going to go here into the LED plug. Now this one with the LED driver is going to go into your low beam. You're going to grab your high beam splitter now. High beam splitter goes here on one end, and the other one is going to go into the factory high beam bulb. Once you do that, you're going to be able to utilize our bi-LED high beam, including your factory high beam, and the low beam will be the LED. So yeah, this is the full assembly for the 2000 to 2006 GMC Sierra Yukon Denali housings. Again, this kit is designed for original headlights, OEM headlights, including Eagle Eyes, DEPO, TYC. If there are other makes and brands that does work on, we will update this video. But for the most part, this is what is designed. As you can see on the front, very OEM appearance. This projector is centered beautifully right there. Left and right is horizontal adjustment is perfect, and vertical adjustment on the truck is going to be done using the factory adjuster here. So you have your vertical there, and because the projector is already been locked into place. So yeah, if you're interested in our DIY kit, go ahead and shoot us an email, sales@818retrofits.com. Give us a call, 818-446-9427, or find us on social media under 818 Retrofits. Thanks, guys.